The avoidant appears indifferent, detached, barely affected by your presence or absence. They maintain an air of casual interest that suggests you are one option among many, someone they could take or leave without consequence. But beneath this performance of disinterest lives a reality they would never voluntarily reveal. You occupy their thoughts obsessively. You are not a passing interest or a temporary distraction. You are the person they think about constantly, the one who has broken through their defenses in ways no one else has. The obsession they hide behind walls of calculated indifference, because admitting how much mental space you occupy would expose a vulnerability they cannot tolerate. You live in their mind, rent-free. The avoidant thinks about you far more than they will ever let you know. You are the first thought when they wake up and the last before sleep. They replay conversations, analyze your words for hidden meaning, wonder what you are doing when you are not together. They compose messages they never send, imagine scenarios of reconnection they never pursue, think through what they would say if given the chance to explain themselves. This mental preoccupation is constant and consuming, the opposite of the indifference they project. But they hide this obsession because acknowledging it would mean admitting you have power over them, that they are not as emotionally independent as they claim, that they need you in ways that contradict their entire self-image. The obsession is real, but it remains locked inside, where you can never see the full extent of how much you affect them. They monitor you without engaging. The avoidance obsession manifests through surveillance they hope you will never notice. They check your social media religiously while never interacting with your posts. They ask mutual friends about you while pretending casual interest. They engineer situations where they might run into you while acting as if the encounter is coincidental. They know details about your life that you never directly shared because they are paying attention in ways that contradict their apparent disinterest. This monitoring is their way of staying connected without risking vulnerability. They need to know you are okay, what you are doing, whether you are thinking about them, but they cannot ask directly because asking would expose how much they care. So they watch from the shadows, obsessing over every piece of information they can gather while maintaining the fiction that they have moved on. Every action is measured against how it affects you. The avoidant who is secretly obsessed with you makes decisions with you in mind, even when they pretend you are irrelevant. They choose what to post on social media based on whether you might see it. They craft their public image partly to affect how you perceive them. They make life choices while wondering what you would think. They date other people, but find themselves comparing everyone to you. This constant internal reference to you reveals that you are not just someone they once knew, but the standard against which everything else is measured. You are the ghost in every decision, the voice in every consideration, the person they are always unconsciously trying to impress. Avoid disappointing or prove they are fine without. The obsession infiltrates everything, even as they maintain that you mean nothing. They cannot stop themselves from reaching out. Despite their best efforts to maintain distance, the avoidant who is obsessed with you will periodically break their own rules and make contact. These reach-outs are often minimal and carefully calibrated to seem casual, but they are evidence of the obsession they are trying to hide. They send a meme that reminded them of you. They comment on something you posted months ago. They text about something trivial that could easily have been left unsaid. These moments of contact are not random. They are the obsession overwhelming the defenses. The need to connect temporarily, overpowering the fear that keeps them distant. They reach out because not reaching out requires more willpower than they possess in that moment, because thinking about you nonstop without any actual contact becomes unbearable. Then they retreat immediately, terrified they revealed too much. But the pattern repeats because the obsession never actually goes away. The fantasy life they build around you. In the private space of their mind, the avoidant constructs elaborate fantasies about what could exist between you. They imagine scenarios where they are brave enough to be vulnerable, where they can express what they feel, where the relationship works despite their patterns. They envision futures where you are together, where they have overcome their fear, where they can offer you what you deserve. These fantasies are vivid and frequent, a stark contrast to the reality of their emotional unavailability. The avoidant lives in these imagined possibilities while doing nothing to make them real, trapped between the obsession that pulls them toward you and the fear that keeps them frozen. The fantasy becomes a substitute for action, a way to experience the connection they want without risking the vulnerability that actual connection would require. Why they will never admit the obsession. The avoidant cannot tell you that you are their secret obsession, because admitting it would destroy the psychological protection their defenses provide. To say, "I think about you constantly," or "You matter more than anyone else," or "I cannot get you out of my mind," would be to hand you complete power over their emotional well-being. It would expose that they are not indifferent, not detached, not casually interested. It would reveal that beneath the performance of not caring lives, someone who cares desperately but is too terrified to show it. So the obsession remains secret, expressed through behaviors they hope are too subtle to notice, through actions that maintain just enough connection to feed the obsession without requiring them to acknowledge its existence. You are their secret obsession, and unless they do significant therapeutic work to address their attachment wounds, that obsession will likely remain secret forever, trapped inside someone too afraid of vulnerability to ever let you know how profoundly you have affected them.